House numbers were painted so the army could find men. For most of history, a house had no number. It had a description. The house with the green door, past the well, opposite the baker. In towns, buildings carried signs, a golden lion, 3 keys, a boot. You found somebody by asking. Numbering appears here and there earlier. There are numbers on the Pont Notre Dame in Paris in 1512. But numbering everything, everywhere, systematically, begins in the Habsburg Empire around 1770 by order of Maria Theresa, and it is not done for visitors or for letters. It is done for the military census. Officials went through the towns and villages of the empire painting numbers on houses so that the men living in each one could be counted, listed, and, when needed, conscripted. The numbers were called conscription numbers. In some places, people painted them out again overnight. The system spread, and then it was rearranged for a different reason. In Paris, in 1805, numbering was fixed to the street rather than to the district. Odd on one side, even on the other, counting from the end nearest the river. That is the scheme most of the world uses now. So the number on your door began as a way for a government to find the people inside, and became a way for everybody else too. It is the oldest piece of addressing we have, and it is still just paint or a screwed-on plate, the cheapest thing on the whole building. Which side of the road you drive on was decided by loads, not by law. There is a story, told very often, that people kept to the left so that a rider's sword hand-faced anyone coming the other way. It is old, it is neat, and there is very little evidence for it. It is worth saying that plainly. What can be traced is duller and more convincing. It has to do with where the driver sat. In Britain, a coachman sat on the vehicle, on the right of the box, to keep his whip arm clear of his passengers. Sitting on the right, he saw the edge of the road best if he kept left. In America and much of Europe, heavy freight was pulled by teams of horses with no driver's seat at all. The driver rode the rearmost horse on the left, so that his right arm was free for the whip. Sitting on the left, he could judge the gap between his wheels and an oncoming wagon's wheels best if he kept right. Britain made keeping left the law in the Highway Act of 1835. France had already gone the other way. The empires carried their habits with them, and that is why the map looks the way it does. Countries have changed sides since. Sweden did it on one morning, the 3rd of September, 1967, at 5 o'clock, after years of preparation. It is remembered as H-Day. Traffic stopped, moved across, and started again. For a while afterwards, there were fewer collisions than before, because everybody was driving carefully and slowly, which tells you something about how much of driving is habit. About a third of the world keeps left today, and the rule is one of the few things on this list that was never invented at all. It was only written down. The traffic light was installed before the motor car existed. In the 1860s, the traffic outside the Houses of Parliament in London was horses, carts, cabs, and pedestrians, and there was a great deal of it. John Peake-Knight was a railway signaling engineer. Railways had already solved the problem of telling one machine to wait while another passes. A semaphore arm by day, a colored gas lamp by night. He proposed doing the same thing on a street. It was put up in December 1868 at the corner of Bridge Street and Great George Street. 2 semaphore arms for daylight, red and green gas lamps for the dark. A policeman stood beside it and worked the arms by hand. It was in service for less than a month. A leak in the gas pipe led to an explosion at the base of the column, and the constable operating it was hurt. The signal was taken away, and nothing like it appeared in Britain again for half a century. The idea came back electrically in America. Cleveland, Ohio, in 1914. Red and green electric lamps, wired, on a corner. Amber, the third color, was added in Detroit a few years later, when a police officer named William Potts worked out that drivers needed to be told a change was coming, and not just that it had happened. So the sequence at the end of your street was designed for horses, killed by a gas leak and revived 46 years later for a machine its inventor never saw. The colors themselves are older still. They came off the railways. And the railways took red for danger, because red light carries furthest through fog.